There's no single solution to non-communicable diseases because their causes are complex. Their causes are not just the behaviours that people do, but also the social, environmental and economic conditions that contribute to those behaviours. And the causes differ from country to country. So it's a complex web of the interaction between socioeconomic conditions and the behavioural risk factors that contribute to our increasing rates of non-communicable disease. For example, non-communicable diseases in countries first developing them show a positive socioeconomic gradient. The wealthier people can afford unhealthier food, can afford motor cars, and can afford to smoke. But over time, this transition flips, so that in highly developed countries, the poorest people have higher rates of non-communicable disease. This is because they can afford only the cheapest food, which is unhealthy. They don't live where there is access to walking paths and cycle paths, so they have to drive, and they consume alcohol and tobacco, which are relatively cheap. So then what we have is inequalities that are different in different countries, but basically the non-communicable diseases as a whole affect the poorest people the most. There's not one single solution, no one action we can take. We have to take action at multiple levels, both within the health sector, making sure prevention is part of the health system, but also working with other agencies, other government departments and the non-government sector. We need to make sure we have the departments of education involved. We provide sport and recreation opportunities. We monitor agriculture and food production. And we regulate tobacco access and facilitate lifestyles. We have a whole range of intersecting government and non-government departments that need to develop solutions at multiple levels. So there is no quick fix to solve non-communicable disease. It will take several decades of concerted action. But as with climate change, when we start the concerted action is when we start to get on top of the problem. Currently, governments are producing policy statements on what we should do, but very little in the way of resourcing the implementation of these policies. For example, policies to reduce salt in food would reduce blood pressure, and that would reduce stroke and heart disease. We need to uniformly tax cigarettes and tobacco consumption, which we do well in North America, Australia and New Zealand, but we don't do it all well in middle-income and developing countries. We need to provide physical activity opportunities, particularly where countries are moving from bicycles to motor cars and there aren't other opportunities provided for people to be physically active. So the solutions are complex. There's no single solution.